welcome back to another video. I'm so excited you clicked on today's video because I am sharing with you my favorite types of recipes, and that of course is potato recipes. I recently did a 10-day potato reset. Now, fair warning, I did not do this for a taste bud reset or even weight loss. I am perfectly comfortable with where I am in my plant-based journey. I don't feel like I need a taste bud reset as I eat off intuition. I eat what I love, and I don't consider myself in a position where I need to lose weight. However, I've always been intrigued by Mary's Minis and potato resets. Now, I have done a few Mary's Minis in the past, and I will link those recipes along with another completely meal prep potato recipe down in the description box below. So after this video, make sure to check those out. But I thought I would share with you a few of my favorite recipes from this past 10 days. Now, this isn't all I ate the last 10 days. A lot of my meals were just basic baked potatoes or air fried potatoes, simple, basic with a side of vegetables. But these are the recipes that I did put together and really loved. Plus, I have a few more that I'm actually going to share with you later in the next coming weeks. So make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss that second video. Give this video a thumbs up if you are a huge fan of potatoes, and let's jump into the first recipe.
Stepped into my life, such a magic feeling when you tore down my walls. I wish I could go back to right before you told me I'd try to change it all. But look at us now, we could have gone so far. It hurts to realize we're parted. Yeah, look at us now, this is who we are. And I just know things will never be the same. We're like strangers again, again, again. Strangers again, again, again. We're like strangers again, again, again. I just know things will never be.
The first thing I did was get some mashed potatoes going in my Instant Pot. Now, I did 2 batches of mashed potatoes, and I'll show you both things what I did with them. So I did all red potatoes, and like I said, I split them in half. So one I set off to the side because it was for dinner this evening, and then the other half I put a bag of frozen broccoli into. I just defrosted this in my microwave really quickly. It doesn't have to be cooked all the way, just soft enough so you can put it in the mashed potatoes. Added a bunch of seasonings, and then I mixed it up and I put it into the refrigerator with a cover on the top. You could move it into another container if you wanted to, but I wanted these mashed potatoes to be cold for my next recipe. Now, they don't have to be cold, but I feel like the texture of them is better, so stay tuned because this recipe will be in the video later. But one of the things I find the best with a Mary's Mini with potatoes or a potato reset is being prepared is key. For the second group of mashed potatoes, I went ahead and added more seasonings to those, just different ones, and then I also made a mushroom gravy. If you are doing a complete reset or a Mary's Mini, I know a lot of times seasonings are not used, but go on your own preference, like I like to say. Take what works for you, leave what doesn't. I like to season my food because I like my food to taste good. And even though I did a reset, it was just for fun. It wasn't to like do complete taste buds. For the mushroom gravy, you're gonna add mushrooms to a hot skillet and then a scoop of garlic and a scoop of better than bouillon. If you don't have the better than bouillon, you could just use veggie broth. I do use the vegan kind, and then about a cup of water. You put a lid on it, and then once the mushrooms release their liquid, you're going to add a cornstarch slurry, about a 1-to-1 ratio. I used a tablespoon of cornstarch in about 3 tablespoons of water. It's supposed to be 1-to-1. I never do 1-to-1, so just saying. It's supposed to be 1-to-1. Anyways, I turn the heat down low and let that kind of simmer away until it thickens up really nice, and it takes about 10 minutes. It's perfection every single time, and you just leave the lid on it. It gets nice and beautiful. And then to those mashed potatoes, I had a side of green beans and then that beautiful mushroom gravy, and it's fantastic. It goes on top of so many things, but it's made to go on every kind of potato because it's so delicious. If you're wondering what I did with that first group of mashed potatoes with the broccoli inside, I let them sit in the refrigerator for a complete day. The next day, when it came to dinner time, I scooped them out with a cookie scoop, put them on a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, pop them in my oven at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then serve them with a side of veggies and cheese sauce. I'm going to show you the cheese sauce recipe next. You're probably wondering why I didn't put them in the air fryer, because if you've watched my other potato recipe videos before, I have made these a couple of different ways. Usually I put them in the air fryer, but I wanted to do a large pan of sheet veggies, and it was just the easiest thing to do to get the bulk of my food done the fastest. So I'm going to share with you this cheese sauce, and it's also going to be typed in the description box to make it nice and easy for you to replicate. I have made this cheese sauce quite a few times in my recipe videos before, and it's something I make a couple times a month, and every single time I make it just a little bit different. But like I said, I'll leave the recipe down in the description box below, along with another video that I filmed, how to eat for $10 a week, and I use this cheese sauce in so many recipes. So make sure you check that video out after this one. Like I said, I'll link it down in the description box below and up in an iCard in the top right corner. But I get some Yukon potatoes. I think they're really creamy. They taste really good. I've used russets before. I've used reds. I've even used sweet potatoes. You can honestly use anything. The creamier the potato, the better, but it honestly works just fine with anything you have. You boil that with carrots. I throw a couple of cloves of garlic in there, and then you whip everything up in a high-speed blender. Yes, it has to be a high-speed blender. It can't be a food processor because it's hot and it'll go everywhere. But I typically add more carrots than my typed recipe because I find I like the taste and texture better. And then what you do is you add some of the water from the pot, the starchy liquid, just like I do with my mashed potatoes, a little bit of lemon juice, seasonings of your choice, blend it all up. And I almost forgot the nutritional yeast. I got done blending it and I tasted it to see if I wanted to add any other seasonings, and I was like, something's missing. Aha, the nutritional yeast. That is a huge thing in this recipe to kind of give it that cheesy kind of taste. A lot of people will try this recipe and then they will tell me this tastes nothing like cheese. Well, yeah, it's made with potatoes and carrots, so like what can you hope for? But the nutritional yeast does give it that nice tanginess, and if you add enough salt and garlic, it's really, really good. But like I said, you can season it however you like. I am using it in 2 different recipes today. You did see it with the mashed potatoes. It was kind of to dip the veggies and the mashed potato like little balls in as well. And then I am using it for another recipe coming up here in just a minute. On this night, we were back to the stovetop, and again, I'm using that Better Than Bouillon, the vegan, it's the vegetable base. If you don't have that, you could just do straight veggie broth. I usually make homemade veggie broth, and I just didn't have any on hand, and honestly I just didn't feel like making it. But as the winter months come, I tend to make it every single week. To that, once it kind of came to a little bit of a boil, I added some chopped Yukon potatoes. I used a lot of those this week for my cooking, and then my russets and my sweets I used a lot for just baked potatoes or air fried potatoes. Once that came to a boil, I added about 3 cups of that cheese sauce that I made this week, and I'm making a cheesy potato broccoli soup. So another thing I would do for this is I would actually later on, probably when I'm not doing like all potatoes and trying to be a little more conscious of what I'm eating just for the recipe shares, not even personally, is I would actually add either a vegan half and half or a plant-based milk to this, because it would make it really creamy. And then I would probably even add a little bit of a cornstarch thickener. I was hoping for this to be really creamy with just the starchiness of the cheese sauce, but it wasn't quite there yet, so I would definitely add those 2 items to make it way more creamy. But the flavor is spot on. It's super delicious. Like I said, it's more like a veggie soup, but I think the cheese and the cheese sauce and those carrots and all that flavor really, really adds a lot to it, and I really love this. I know it's really hot for soup, trust me. We are having like excessive heat advisories here. It's the like mid-September, or I guess it's beginning of September, but I still really loved it, and I will eat soup cold because that's how much I love soup. And I think sometimes when September hits, I'm just so ready for fall that I just need soup in my life. So I hope you give this one a go and try it out and let me know what you think. I almost forgot. I have one last recipe to share with you that I made really quickly this morning to take with me for just lunch and snacks and pre-run today. I needed something really fast that I could throw in the oven while I was getting ready. So I took a bunch of little mini potatoes, garlic, a tomato, an onion, and some peppers. And this was so good. I would kind of call this like a fajita style salad with potatoes. Super flavorful. These potatoes are really delicious. Russets are my favorite. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite potato is. There has to be some kind of quiz out there somewhere that says your personality matches your potato type. But anyways, I chopped a bunch of veggies, put them on a sheet pan, put the potatoes with garlic on a sheet pan, and then when they came out, I just kind of put them in a couple meal prep containers and then had this with greens, and then I topped it with salsa, and it was so good. You could add fajita seasonings to these vegetables and potatoes, or taco seasoning, but so good. You have to try this one out, especially if you're looking for a really quick dinner or like make ahead meal, because I feel like this one is wonderful. You could also put this in tortillas if you want to, and then have a whole kind of fajita thing, but super delicious. Like I said, I just made this really quickly and I put it in my oven quickly this morning so I could just have 2 sheet pans and then I could go get ready for my day and then have some meals ready to go to take with me for the day. I hope you really love this video. I love potatoes, love, and I have to be honest with you, until I went plant-based, I honestly didn't even like potatoes. Really strange, right? And now they're like my favorite thing ever in the entire world when it comes to starches. So I really love them. I hope you love them too. And like I said, make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss the next video that will come out in a few weeks that will kind of conclude this potato reset and more potato-based recipes. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.